Alrighty, in this video we are going to discuss the color palette that you're going to use over your website. Now, some of you already may have this, others may not. So what we're going to do is, if you have a logo with just one color, then you have a bit more flexibility in choosing a color palette. So I'm just going to, I'll throw this on the screen. So this is my color palette that I have. Typically it's composed of about five colors. And then you can go ahead and get the hex code for each of these colors. So if you're not sure what the hex code is, it is each individual color has a 6-digit hex code. So when you are building your site, different pages, selecting the text, to make sure that the blue is the same blue everywhere, you can have a hex code. So if you jump over to this website, it's called color.adobe.com, and I'll put the link in the video below, or the button below. And so like I mentioned, if you have a logo with one color, you have a little bit more flexibility. So you can go along and explore what color palette you want to use across your website. So, you know, you can take into account the look and feel you're going for your website, you know, fun, bright and colorful, or you might have a mission that's, you know, a bit more serious. So I'm just going to kind of leave that up to you guys. If you do, so what you can do, if you find one that you really like, say this one, I typically come along and say edit, and then what I would do is you have to have an account to save this so you can get a better hex color. So I would come along and save this. You can get a free account, and then what I would do is I come along to edit. Oh, hang on, I'm just trying to find where you can. Oh yeah. So what I would do is I just come along and screenshot this. You can download it into a file as well. So if you are running, you have to have either Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop or something. But if we are not using that, typically that's why I would just take a screenshot of it. And then what I would do with this screenshot, I would then come in and open up either Canva or even just your normal browser editor. Make sure you don't screenshot that and close that before you screenshot it. And then you can just come along and line it up with that. Go back into edit mode, just so you can see the hex codes there. It's late, it's been a big day. So you can see the hex codes there. So that if you're on an Apple, you can do it nice and easily and just go to markup and then just copy those hex codes. So your hex code is here. You can copy and paste them, and then so what I typically do is I would copy and paste it onto the image like I showed you on here, so that way you can just have a visual reference. Now you can either print this out or just leave it on your desktop somewhere. But what I'm going to really encourage you guys to do is decide on what program you're going to use to kind of keep everything organized. And I'm going to show you two in a minute that I use. But just before I go, I'm going to, if you have an image, if you have a logo with a couple of colors in it and you're not sure what they are, you can come up to this little camera icon up in the top right hand corner and just drag your logo in, and then that's going to go and populate. It's going to go pick all the colors from your logo. So if you do have, like, if you didn't want to use the two blues, what you can do is just save and then come to edit, and then you can manually select a couple of others. So if you wanted this to be actual white, I'm just going to put the hex code for white in, which is 6F, or 6Fs. And then if you wanted to change this blue slightly, you can just drag it around and just pick a color that you think is going to work really well. Obviously, that's not going to work well, but you could have two blues, but I would probably have them a little bit more. I would maybe go like maybe like a really dark one and then a really light one. So, like I said, it really depends on your branding colors that you already have. But if you only have the one logo, only have one color in your logo, then you can just come up here and just go to the Explore and just, there's hundreds of thousands of different color palettes in here. So you can just scroll through them, or you can search. And then once you have your screenshot, like I mentioned, you can just come in and you can just use your markup tool. You can throw it into, say, Canva, if you know how to use Canva. If you don't, we'll do a training on that at some stage in the next couple of weeks. Putting it on my list. So you could just bring it in, very quickly show you. Canva is just an editing program that I use. So you can just kind of bring it in here, and then just use the text element, and then just use those hex codes. So that's not the right one, and then you can just play around with it until it fits on. And then you can go ahead and just copy that. Copy at the top there. Oops. They get copied behind there, but you kind of get the idea. And then you can either just screenshot that or download it, and then just crop it so it's not so big. But the thing I was going to encourage you is to figure out where you're going to keep all this, because another way you can do it, you can go back to your colors, back to your theme, wherever you saved it, back to edit colors, and you can copy and paste the hex code as well. So whether you're just going to use a Word document, a Google document, to put everything in the one place. So go ahead and start putting all the passwords that you're creating for all these different accounts. Go ahead and put, the login details for SiteGround. You can go and put everything in one place, because it's going to make it a lot easier when you need to pull up your color codes, or you're going to have to pull up your, your logo or your fonts. So it's just very, very, it's going to save you a lot of stress. So a couple of things that I use that I would recommend is, one's called Airtable. So this is basically like spreadsheets made easy. So here you can see, this is all the stuff that I'm using for you guys. Go ahead and you can just see I've got everything categorized. Some of them have way more in it than others, but this is where you can just add, there's just spreadsheets on fire basically. So, and then if you're not using Trello, I would highly recommend that as well. So you can go in and say you got a website. So you can make a new board for all of your content. And then you can go ahead and you can add new cards. And then you can actually put images in. So you can actually see it. And then what I would do is also, you can come in here and then copy and paste those hex codes in there. So, you can just say your orange is that color, and then you can just keep going, or your yellow or whatever it's going to be. But that's what I would recommend doing, because it's going to save you a ton of time, because you will go back and forth, even though we save the colors into the Beaver Builder. So we'll save those 5 core colors. When we're going to go and create icons, or you're going to go and create, you might go and create a special image that we're going to use on the website, and you want to just keep those brand colors consistent, that's definitely the way to do it. So anyway, go ahead and do that, and then jump over to the next video, which I'm going to talk about your typography and your the fonts that we're going to be able to install.